President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert gwe tuli naye olunaku olwaleero era ng'onakkiriza nti kituufu amawulire agatambula ku lunaku olwokuna nti gavumenti ya Mwai Museveni yali etegese olukwe okumuttira mu bitundu by'e Kabale bya ddala amawulire gaali matuufu era gano gamuweebwa abanene okuva mu European Union ne bamutegeeza nti baagudde mu lukwe lwa Mwai Museveni ng'ateesa mu State House ne basajja be okutuusa obulabe ku Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine nti era bwali buyinza n'okuvaamu okufiirwa obulamu nti bwe yafuna amawulire gano nti agatwala nti no gaali ga muzannyo gaali ga kusaaga wabula yakikolera ddala nga omuntu akulidde mu ghetto bw'alina okukikola kwe kusalawo programu ze n'azitema obudde asobole okuva e Kabale nga bukyali nti era n'ebyali bikolwa byali byoleka lwatu nti waaliwo olukwe olwalutegekeddwa kyovula abaamuteganga emisanvu bawongere okukereesa obudde bwe aleme kumala nga bukyali basobole okumukola ekyajabu kye baali bategese ku olwo lunaku okulaba nti afiibwa obulamu kati nno olwaleero tuli naye wano mu State House e Magere atubulire ku nsonga eyo obutuufu bwayo kubanga atwalaba ekibiina kya National Platform nga kifulumya ekiwandiiko ekinene gaggadde ekiwandiiko nga kikakasa nti nno baagudde mu lukwe lwa Mwai Museveni ne gavumenti ye nga baagala okutta Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ng'amaliriza entambula ze mu bitundu ebya Western Uganda kati nno waliwo n'ensonga endala era eziri mu ggwanga ze twagala ayogereko Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine omuli ebyokuba nti eggye lyafulumizza ekiwandiiko nti waliwo ennaku zino okweyongerako kwambala ebyambalo ebifaananyiriza eby'amagye naye nga tageti erabika eri ku National Unity Platform era nga bagamba anaazimula ekiragiro kino ajja kukolebwako ng'amateeka bwe galagira Felix Kulaije omwegezi wa UPDF bwe yafulumizza ekiwandiiko naye twagala ensonga eyo Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine agyogereko atubuulire amazima amatuufu ge galiwa ebyambalo byambala by'amagye oba nedda ate waliwo ne Robina Nabbanja Ssaabaminisita yavuddeyo n'agamba mbu Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine abantu asomba basombe n'abatwala eyo kubeera mu nkuŋŋaana ze nga bano abajja Masaka na Kampala Kyagulanyi agambye ensonga ezitalina makulu tajjaziwa makulu Robina Nabbanja ebyayogera tebirina makulu era waliwo n'ensonga endala nnyingi mu ggwanga ze tugenda okwogerako ne President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine omuli entambula ze kati eziddako agenda Bugisu n'ebitundu ebirala agenda tubuulira enteekateeka eri etya oba olw'okuba yafunyemu ekikangabwa okuba nti bagamutuusaako bulabe yazisirisizza tagenda kuzongerayo genda nazo mu maaso kale mutwegatteko tugende e Magere tufune omukulembeze Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ng'ayogerako eri bannayuganda ku nsonga ez'enjawulo ezeetaaga okumanya gwe nange leero.
Who is beating and killing the people? Who is causing the separation? Who is beating and killing the people? Look, you have seen Andrew Mwenda clad in full military uniform. You see artists every day dressed in military attires. You see many people dressed in military attires. And that's not to say that we dress in any military attire. I am wearing this beret. I keep wearing it. I don't get arrested, but they arrest everybody around me. Does that mean I'm above the law? If there's any law, that you see, that's the selective application of the so-called laws. That is the corruption. You know, that's the impunity that we have in this our country. So I'll tell you that first and foremost, for us to be able to traverse the country unhindered by the military or police, it's not because Museveni loves that so much. It's two reasons. One, he is blatantly ashamed. Yes, he's shameless, but it's a clear sense of shame that is hovering over the regime. But most importantly, after Museveni's massacre in November 2020, and after the constant hounding of the opposition, abductions and killing of the people, we took Museveni, his son, and those around him to the International Criminal Court with more than 200 pieces of evidence tendered in. And we are still putting more evidence together. So Museveni knows that the international community is watching him, and this is the community that has been funding him to continue his misrule over the people of Uganda, to continue his regime of blood and national shame. So he is aware that he's a candidate for the ICC. He knows what happens. So he probably is trying to behave himself in order to tone down on the pieces of evidence that are coming, to add on the petition that we put up against him. Probably that is why we've been able to move peacefully so far. Like I said, we are always peaceful, and it only gets messy when the police messes it up. Coming back to the so-called military stores that they claim we have, they've raided our offices many times, stolen our berets, while every other person is putting on berets, including them. The NRM tried to copy our beret and they made them in yellow. Apparently for them, it's okay to put on berets, but not us. All this they are doing because they are trying to look for any reason to arrest, torture, and incarcerate our supporters. Berets, none of them has been convicted. All of them have been tortured, incarcerated for lengthy time, some years, but they've been released. So, it's another excuse. It comes out of fear. Yeah.
The Electoral Commission has issued its roadmap for the 2026 general election. I would want to find out from you. I'm sure you've read it. Does it answer the questions that were left during the 2021 general elections?
It doesn't answer any question. We are not so bothered by the Electoral Commission's roadmap because you know what? One of the reasons why they issued that roadmap was probably for them to ensure that the people of Uganda go past the 2021 rigged election. We have not gone past that election. We won that election and we continue to, to call out the regime for having rigged that election. But this national tour also is to show the people of Uganda what they missed when that election was rigged. We had a program, which program we continue to highlight, a program of a return to democracy, return to civilian rule, a program of a revampation of the economy, an absolute fight and crushing of corruption, which corruption General Museveni has been the chief priest of, and many other things that I cannot in very quick minutes, detail. But we are moving around the country, showing them what they missed when the election was rigged, and reminding them that it is going to continue like that if they don't firmly put their feet down. We are not campaigning for the election because if we had another election under these circumstances, it wouldn't be any difference. We are telling the people of Uganda that nobody else is going to give them a free and fair election but themselves. They must be firm, put their feet down. We are working locally and internationally, knowing that when the international community finally distances itself from Museveni, like it's clearly beginning to, then we will be dealing with a much more weakened Museveni, and our effort to make him fall will be easier.
Mr. Chabani, are you coming back in 2026?
The question should be, are you here now? And I will say yes.
Are you going to contest for the 2026 general election?
We've not looked at 2026 yet. We are looking at now because we want Museveni to fall now. We want to change the circumstances now. We want the factors to change fundamentally now. So, talking about 2026 is telling our people to relax and wait for 2026, and that would be immoral, that would be wrong. We want to deal with now so that we have, some success even before 2026. If it reaches, it must reach with a very, very weakened Museveni or a destroyed Museveni.
But many think with this broad tours that you're taking out, it's one of the strategies. You're trying to position yourself.
Everybody has a right. Everybody has a right to think the way they think. But you ask me because you want to hear what I'm saying. I'm not positioning myself. I am positioned already. Rita, you're interviewing the guy who defeated Museveni. I was elected by the people of Uganda. So if it was going for another election, I know I would beat Museveni or anybody very easily because we've beaten them before. So I'm not campaigning to be voted. I was voted. I am pushing this campaign of reawakening and self-assertion so that the people of Uganda can be able to defend their will, you know, not just to take them into an election when they are a weakened population. We have to have a vibrant and fired up population.
Mr. Chaglani, how will these Ugandans reawaken their will? Many of them are struggling financially.
Yeah.
We just have a week or two for children to go back to school. Many of them have no school fees. Many of them can't even afford food. They can only eat once a day. And with the World Bank decision to not lend more money to Uganda, it has left many of the people panicking. What solutions do you have for the Ugandans who are struggling financially, economically, and a country like Uganda where we are bleeding? We have no money. The country is broke. Ugandans are broke. Maybe for you,
it is that brokenness. It is that brokenness that emboldened the people of Tunisia to kick away the dictator. It's that brokenness that emboldened and annoyed the people of Sudan and many other places to kick away their dictators. I want the people of Uganda to be angry and to have resolve. That is when they are going to do what they must do. We want the people of Uganda to charge up, to be angry, to get annoyed, to get uncomfortable about the situation, you know. So that is a factor as well. If people were broke and impoverished and they are not getting the leadership to charge and change their circumstances, that would be the unfortunate bit. But they have the leadership that leads them to removing the main cause of their predicament, and that is the Museveni dictatorship. What is the solution? First of all, we must remove a regime that is not considering the well-being of the people, but looking solely on regime maintenance. You know how much? Do you know how much money Museveni uses every day? 2 billion shillings.
But also, you know, there have been empowerment programs for the people of Uganda.
Those are hoaxes. Those are lies. Those are, you know what Chiwani means? Those are Biwanis. Those are hoaxes. Stated from Mentandikwa, Bonaba Gagaware, now you have PDM and all that. All those are hoaxes. They are lies. You know, people don't need handouts. People need policies that would make them self-sustaining. You know, we are rich. We have a rich human resource which is not empowered at all. People are overtaxed. You know, that's why they keep running out of the country. See how many Ugandans leave the country every day to look for better, you know, pastures. Agriculture has fallen completely. The economy has been, you know, hijacked by a few elite, you know, who are connected to General Museveni and his family. So that and more is supposed to annoy the people and remove this dictatorship so we can be able to realign. You get my point? Our challenge has been poverty as juxtaposed to extravagance. See how extravagant those that rule over us are. Compare Anita Mongo's house and the Bukedea Health Center. You know, compare how many cars Museveni has as an individual running his office and how many ambulances we have in a country. Compare the money that is spent on security and weapons of destruction as juxtaposed to the budget in the healthcare sector. Compare the salaries of our teachers and their working conditions. So all that has to change. It only changes when we change the head, because the priorities.
And with this World Bank decision today, the government is saying they're going to cut expenditure. What are some of those areas you think we should be focusing on if we are to raise revenue by ourselves and don't have to do?
First of all, crack down on corruption. Crack down on corruption. According to UR Ericos, we lose 10 trillion every year that we lose to corruption. Sorry?
We lose about 20 trillion.
You see, now I'm even underestimating it. 20 trillion lost to corruption. We know who the corrupt people are. We know who the thieves are. They went beyond stealing money. They even steal iron sheets. These are the people around Museveni. Crack down on corruption and channel that money to help the people. That is number one. Number two, realign on our expenditure. Why must we spend all that money on administration? See how many ministers we have. How many ministers did Obote or Amin have? See the presidential advisors, the RDCs. Now those that are in power, look at how their convoys move and how much money they spend. So just those two things alone can fundamentally alter our circumstances as the people of Uganda. Then invest in healthcare. Make sure our people don't die stupidly like they are dying. And others, like I said, I would take the whole program just talking about our solutions.
This whole issue of the World Bank decision remains a serious threat to this country and to the people that you lead, the people you want to reawaken. Because many of the programs are supported by World Bank, donations and all that. Meaning Omuntu Wawansi will suffer as a result of World Bank, not even...
Money. They stole it. Museveni and these people. Remember what happened to the Gavi funds? Stole it, Museveni and these people. You know what happens to the money that comes in to support refugees? Stolen. Okay? The only difference is that they've been stealing the funds that we borrow, which funds you and your child, me and my child and our grandchildren are going to pay. They've been stealing it. Now they're stealing taxpayers' money. In any case, they've been stealing 20 trillion of taxpayers' money annually. So, the Muntu Wawansi has been suffering and will continue to suffer because these are thieves. Okay? And I'm being blunt because that is what they are. These are thieves. The international funds were not helping us anyway because they were being lost in corruption. And those that were not lost in corruption were being used to subjugate us. Myself and my team, we are moving nation to nation, organization to organization, asking them to stop funding Museveni's regime. We are happy that they're stopping. We also want them to put sanctions on them. We want to weaken the Museveni regime, I repeat it. And we can weaken him. One way of weakening him is to make sure that they don't sponsor his killing. The guns that kill us are given by Americans. The money that he uses to buy people to compromise those that are speaking the truth against him is given from abroad. Museveni is an agent of neocolonialism, is an agent of foreigners. So we are asking them to stop sponsoring killing, to stop sponsoring that regime of national shame. They are stopping and we appreciate. We want them to even put sanctions.
That is Rita Together, and later on we shall give you a chance as well. I guess Rita shall have any calls as well to ask Robert Chablani if you have any question, or also you can share your views and opinions. We'll take another quick short commercial break.
Driving back from our country, as soon as we are done, in fact we cut some activities short as well. Because we had even been antagonized. In fact, we cut some, driving back from our country. As soon as we are done, in fact, we cut some activities short as well. Because we had even been antagonized in the first place. We don't take these threats lightly at all. We don't take them lightly because we've had similar threats and they've come to pass. We were warned in Arua. I was told that there was an attempt on my life, and as it all turned out, I survived narrowly, but my driver did not survive. The late Yasin Kauma, may God grant his soul perfect peace. Now, we know that the regime has made attempts on my life numerous times. I've survived gunshots, There are times when they even aimed at me and the bullet went through the windscreen of my car. So they've had attempts on my life numerous times. Therefore, I cannot treat any threats lightly. Yeah.
And I would want to find out from you, Mr. Chavan. Ordinarily, when such threats are issued, when you receive such information, you would have to inform the security officers. Did you do that?
The security officers, the same security officers that are responsible of having tried to eliminate me? Are you not aware that it is the SFC that shot and killed Yasin Kauma? Are you not aware that it's the military that ran over Frank Sentes and killed him? Are you not aware that it is the Uganda police that killed Rita Nabukenya? Are you not aware of that?
But it is standard procedure. When such a threat is issued, the first respondent should be security.
In a legal and moral situation. But as of now, when we know that the chief murderer, who is General Museveni himself, is presiding over a system, then that system is rotten. And we opt for other means. We would have gone to Ugandan court. Why do you think we've taken Museveni to the International Criminal Court? Because all the courts here in Uganda are muzzled. So you cannot seek refuge from the same animal that's trying to eat you. However, we expose them because I know that I cannot, fight against Museveni violently because he has all the guns and all that. But by exposing him internationally, in a way, it keeps me alive tentatively. But even when they finally succeed in eliminating me, I want the whole world to know who is after my life. That is Museveni and his son.
The same people you oppose, the same system that you are trashing, is the same system that you went to running to court in 2021 when you felt you had been denied your victory.
If you marked my words, I said, and I maintain it today, that we were going to that court to get either of the two things. One, justice, or to strip it naked. And indeed, the justice system was exposed. You saw just yesterday or the day before yesterday, Justice Kisache resigned from the Supreme Court because it was whatever they were doing was illegal and criminal. Whatever the Chief Justice Winyidoro was doing was illegal and criminal, and he was challenged, and he behaved in a very, very, very disgusting way, a way that undermines the judiciary. So our judiciary has been put to shame, courtesy of the Chief Justice and all those, all in the name of defending the sitting regime.
So when I read the court and diplomatic sources of that plan tension in life, you mentioned Robert Mao, and I will read that. Colonialism came through one region. It is coming back through the same region. It says in both European backers, no justice.
Well, I don't blame Robert Mao. I only blame those that take him serious. When Robert Mao is dealing with the international community, it's not colonialism. Okay? When Museveni went to Sweden to be assisted in the fight against Milton Obote, it was not colonialism. But when the international community, warns the regime about an impending terrorist attack, that is not colonialism. But when they warn me about an attack on my life, that is colonialism. I don't blame Mao. I blame those that take him serious. But like I said, it was his own quote that if you are paid to be a fool, your intelligence ceases to matter.
Mr. Robert Chavan, you have a call line? Hello. Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, good morning.
That I will not defend or shield the corrupt. No. Corruption will be treated the way it is treated in Japan or China.
And the contradictory remarks involve that.
But I'm not contradicting myself. What are the contradictory remarks? Can you note them for me?
Seeking your clarification. It says in your press conference you said it is good and now you said it was bad, you think? And now
No. I say that the World Bank, what they did was good. The reason that they gave was so selective, okay? It was a long time coming. Museveni has been killing people, abusing human rights. He killed people in Kasese. He massacred people, including women and children, in the most degrading way. He killed people in Kayunga. He killed people around Uganda, the whole of Uganda recently in 2020, November. So that was a long time coming. It should have come much earlier, not only tagging it on this new law, but they should have tagged to human rights that have been abused, because the first human right is the right to life.
I have another question here from the one who he says, at 30 years, Chagulanyi was driving an Escalade worth about 200 million shillings in a poor Uganda, where Museveni has stolen everything and made all Ugandans poor. And if he says, where did he get it from?
You see, it amazes me when people start thinking that even a farmer in Toroko owes the rain that makes his farm produce grow to Museveni. Yes, I was a very smart and very talented young man. I got successful much earlier. In fact, if we were well governed, I would be much more successful, you know. Yes, by the time I came into politics, I was probably the richest artist in the country. I continue to be successful. That is according to my business acumenship. Of course, with all the challenges, with the messed up infrastructure, with the corruption that is ongoing, I was able to make it. Imagine if we were in a better Uganda. Maybe I would be Jay-Z. So it is Museveni's fault that I'm not Jay-Z. Yeah, maybe I would be at that level. And I'm trying to create a better country so that you can also be as successful as I was able to be, you know. If in any case, I would have kept quiet and enjoyed my success as an individual. But I'm trying to make it possible for you, because it shouldn't be only me. It should be all the people of Uganda. So many people that have not been as lucky as I am have left the country. I was an artist, and back then, art was not as attacked as it is now. I doubt that it's possible for artists to benefit from their art like our generation did.
Mr. Chagulanyi, speaking about that at KFM, we are a station of better information and the best music. And like we said, before we got to know Robert Chagulanyi, same time, we knew Bobi, the ghetto gladiator, the ghetto president, all the names that they have called you from the time you were doing music. Let's speak about the creative industry as it is right now. And I want to find out from you what way ahead for this industry, because we're seeing a number of challenges varying in this industry, and many have attributed it to the political divide.
Yes.
They're saying politics is destroying this industry, and many have said it has been more evident from the time you left that dancehall starship and joined politics from MP to now a presidential candidate and leader of a whole, political movement of political party, I should say. Which way forward for the troubled creative industry in this country?
I'll tell you that if I was a trader, trade would be in danger. If I was a teacher, the teaching industry would be in danger. If I was a medic, that sector would be in danger. Why? They are attacking the music industry because it produced a person that is giving them headache. That's Bobi Wine. And they are scared that the music industry could produce another Bobi Wine. That's why they're trying to muzzle it and own it up. Unfortunately, the slow-thinking artists think that me that brought attention to the music industry is the problem. The problem is those that are fighting the industry, They've been watching the music industry. They have been fighting every effort to promote the music industry. Right now, Dr. Hildeman, who is a fellow artist and an NUP MP, was given leave to draft the copyright law as amended. But the regime is trying as much as possible to ensure that the artists don't have a policy that empowers and protects them. Why? Because they are supposed to remain beggars. Unfortunately, Museveni the same script that he has been using on religious leaders, on traditional leaders, on special interest groups. It's the same style that he's using with the artists. Divide and rule. Throw some money among them and see them scatter. See them tear themselves apart because of that little taxpayers' money that they're giving them. The solution to this industry is the enactment of a detailed and beneficial copyright law. And not only enacting it and having it passed, but enforcing it. The same way Nigerians are benefiting from the music industry. They have oil, but the entertainment industry is the most robust in Nigeria. We have more talent than Nigeria here.
I actually saw you make that open criticism against other musicians in the country at the burial of Kato.
It was not a criticism, it was an eye-opening. It's only an idiot that sees an advice for an insult.
I want to find out from you why you think musicians in this country have not joined up, come up together to form that one loud voice, to fight for something that I think is of great importance to them, that matters to them. Because I mean, look, the other day we saw Conscience win about 600 million shillings because of copyright.
Yeah.
Why are they not coming together to rally behind and support Hildeman to have this?
Artists are not coming together because majority of them don't look beyond Friday night. Majority of them don't look far. And others, unfortunately, many of them are not smart enough to see through their lies. They are being used against themselves and against their own colleague. It was a blessing to the industry for one of us to see that is challenging for the top seat. If I was a teacher, I believe all teachers would be on my side. If I was, from any other sector, all my colleagues would be on my side because they know that I have the best interest of the music industry. I'm a music man before anything else, But because, of course, like I said, some of them don't look far and others are so covered with petty issues like petty, ego and all that goes with it. So they are being used against their own selves. Each one of them is looking for a quick buck to make. Each one of them is looking for quick money. But they don't know that they are rich, and I've been telling it to them. Unfortunately, they never learn.
Not Chabani, Bobi Wine. There is a new kid on the block, the one LNC, and who has since declared himself the ghetto president. And many have said this could have been a direct attack to you, whom many know as the ghetto president himself. But also in a way it has created an harmony within NUP supporters and the ghetto people that you lead. Do these words that fly around from LNC and his camp concern you and bother you?
I'll tell you, my sister, that we focus on serious matters that affect and could benefit the entire country. I wouldn't really want to vulgarize and reduce national issues to individuals. Artists are artists. I've been there more than 20 years and we show examples. Some learn from our examples and others don't. But the target that I have is to offer as many good examples as possible. So I would, at this juncture, advise all people, especially music lovers, to major on majors and minor on minors.
And I would like to pick your thoughts on this whole issue of tokenism. It is one thing that has made musicians get divided, that is killing the music industry, that has killed politics. Today you will have a one Twaha with Bobi Wine. He will be given some money, he will depart. And we've also seen these divisions within musicians themselves. The whole issue of the Gwalita Kagati.
Well, tokenism. We call it tokenism, I call it corruption and bribery. But corruption has been the fuel that runs this regime, Unfortunately, our people don't seem to learn. They give you a little and take away a huge chunk from you, but you don't notice it immediately. I'll tell you that ever since I rose to the occasion to challenge General Museveni, I became, in many ways, a source of employment. Somebody will go to the regime and convince them, oh, me, I can fight Bobi Wine in this angle, fund me in this way. And they do, you know, to the extent that Museveni ended up even appointing some people, calling them presidential advisors, because they promised him that they would, you know, fight me. But that's not new. The same thing was used by the colonialists. They would come among us, among the black people, fund some black people with voices to fight against the leaders that were trying to liberate black people from white oppression. So it's not new. It's just a template that Museveni brings from colonial days to today here. I continue to tell these our brothers that I am not fighting you, I am fighting for you. You fellow artists, I am not fighting you, I am fighting for you. All of you oppressed people. It is like, you know, under the great late Aman Vasude talked about it. He said, Abasibe okulwanira mukomera libabola lya magezi. When you find prisoners fighting within a prison for any of them to be the head of where food is being served, you know, it's a shame. They should be fighting to get the key so they can break loose and be free permanently.
But when we shall take another quick short commercial break, when you do get back, I'll pick your thoughts on this whole issue of battles that we are seeing, and also find out if you still miss the stage. Edwin, I want to find out from you your stand, especially on this whole thing of battles, and as a person who has spent in the industry over 20 years, if this is the right way to go. Yourselves having had battles that were not only lyrical, but also turned ugly sometimes on the bloody from the Fire Bears, Gaga Million Island, and all that. Do you think this whole thing of battles is the right way to go for this industry? We have Sugar simply up next.
Yeah, thank you. As an artist, I grew, I transformed from youthful levels to mature levels, and now progressing to elderly levels. We had our own share of fights. I personally was involved in quite a number of physical fights. However, as we grew up, personally, I believe that my energy went more from the body to the brain. And yes, we still had contestations. And those contestations, we agreed to take them to the microphone. And you remember that I battled our brothers. First, I took on Chameleon, then later Baby Cool, and you know, I matured past that. Of course, battles, having set the precedent, music battles continued. They're a good thing. Hopefully, they are kept professional and moral. But they're a good thing. They bring competition, you know, in the music industry, and it also creates that spark that makes music more competitive and therefore more enjoyable. So yeah, I know that these two female artists are going to battle it out.
Where do you stand?
I am an elder. All these two are my sister. Of course, I have my favorite, you know, as an artist. I have my preference on one of them, but I don't want to be seen to say, okay, this one over this one. It shows you that even when artists are having concerts, for example, tomorrow, Navio and it's actually today Navio and Gravity are both having concerts. You know, Navio is a personal friend of mine. I've worked with him on 2 tracks, Batman from Kamacha and Number One, and I have great respect for Navio. He's such a talent, and he's a personal friend to me, and you know, I owe him support. But at the same time, Gravity is also an artist in Uganda. You know, he might not be a friend, but I also, as an elder, I also owe him that, you know, push, because I don't want to be seen to favor one over the other, even if I have my own favorite. So the same way, let the supporters of Cindy go and support, and let the supporters of Shiba also go and support. You know, in my position as a leader, I am constrained to point a finger on one, although I have my personal favorite.
I mean, your music is going through out there various platforms. We saw how the world, the people went into a craze when the microphone was smuggled to your desk, your table at the Zex Blandy show.
Of course, man. Of course I miss stage, because I am Bobi Wine. And there's no other Bobi Wine. So I know my fans miss me on stage. I also miss that I am full of a vibe, but I'm so committed to national duties that I find very little time for music. But every once in a while, when I get an opportunity, why not vibe, you know, for a minute or two? I definitely miss the stage. And after the struggle is over, I hope that I will still have the energy and vibe to also enjoy music and enjoy the stage. The stage is my place. The stage is my playground.
Let's go back to the vibe of the Wake Up Uganda tour. What's up next for next week? The 1 weekend, the Western Uganda.
Yeah, on Monday we're going to Mayuge. Then we shall proceed to Busia, and then to Mbale, and then we'll go to Lira, we'll go to Wero, we'll go to Hoima, and we'll conclude with Arua, our second phase. And we shall reach everywhere. We shall bring our message of liberation to every corner of this country. Yeah.
Mr. Bobi, like you said earlier, we started with the song Taxman, why you not playing my song? Producer was like, why not? Just a cappella, and we conclude this show.
A cappella, oh my God, now what do I do? Yo, our people complaining night and day. They wonder why they continue to live this way, but I know that things can change someday. If we really want them to change anyway. Yo, Uganda land of abundance, but Ugandans living in deficiency. Museveni wants life presidency. We must abandon that silly tendency. Uganda rich, but Ugandans poor, because the leaders them drunk on power. They run nation like family affairs. The citizens suffer, but they don't care. We should be united forces of change. The only way to get a liberation now. United forces of change. All of us must come together as one now.
I just back you up, so good to see you another voice. On the microphone.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much, Bobi.
Thank you very much for having me. Salute to all our friends. Go out and support your artists. Peace out.
Thank you so much, Robert Chavano, for having the conversation. What is beneath his Wake Up Uganda tour? My name is Rita Kempisa. Until next Saturday, have yourself.
President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine. Ebigambo byebyo abitugambye abyogedde teriyo kulanga kulala. Akakasiza nti amawulire yagafuna bulungi abaali baagala kumuttira mu bitundu by'e Kabale. Naye n'alubuuka n'akozesa labadaba style n'asobola okulaba nti yawona okuba nga afiira e Kabale. Ategeezezza nti pulogulaamu zikyagenda mu maaso ez'okutalaga eggwanga Uganda wadde birimu okutiisatiisa n'agambye yeetabitya kubanga kino bakikoze ebbanga ddene. Ate agamba nti Museveni ka kizibu nnyo okutta Kyagulanyi nti kale asobola okukikola naye akimanye nti no bw'anaakikolera ebinaavaamu tebijja kuba birungi gy'ali. Agamba nti omulamu omukulu gwa kujja Museveni mu ntebe ekyo takirumamu nti era akola buli kyakola buli kitannaku nga afuba kulanga Museveni ava mu ntebe. Agamba agenda mu weekeninga, tagenda mu papira, tagenda mugwako kiyiifuyiifu, agenda mu weekeninga asooka amuteme buli kasuwa akayimiza Museveni asigale ng'ali yala ng'ali mu bbanga twakyali amuyamba olwo alyoka amulindiggula ennume y'ekigo n'enkuyono ennyo mu ttaka bali n'agisimyayo nsuuluulu. Ebigambo bya Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine President. Agamba nti mulimu ebyo ebigenda byogerwa simanya enkofiira ya people power ya maje. Agamba oyo Katemba gwe balimu nti lwaki bakwata abaana mbu bambadde enkofiira y'amagye batwala mu court martial ate ye kajambala oba kaji-initiatinga ne bamuleka mufo kye bandisookedde ku ye mufo ky'okukwata abaana bakwate ye lwaki balowooza nti yali waggulu w'amateeka abayise nno bajje bamukwate bamutwale mu court martial bamuvunaane okwambala enkofiira y'amagye so bave kukwata abaana abatalina musango. Kyagulanyi Sentamu Robert Bobi Wine agamba nti bannayuganda ayagala banyigire eddala beetamule eddala beekyayire eddala ate beekyangire eddala beekalakaase ayagala embeera yongere okubanyiga agambye tinaba kubanyiga bulungi kuba singa badde banyiga mwandibadde mwasedda mu comfort zone zammwe ne mwekalakaasa ku makubo ne mujjawo gavumenti ya Mwami Museveni ne muba temunnalowooza ku kyakuyimuka kweyiwa ku makubo kwekalakaasa kumala wiiki namba nga mwekalakaasa ebyokubanga mugamba ebintu bya bbeeyi simanyi obulamu buzibu mubireke musirike busirisi kyakati bulinaba kuba fiti munaba kukifiiringa agamba munaba mukifiirinze mujja kuvayo mukanga tewali abayise muve mu byokwoza amasomero Kyagulanyi tulagire mulina kweragira mu mwekka ne muvayo mu comfort zone zammwe ne mulumba Mwami Museveni tumujja mu ntebe Uganda yaffe neeterera agamba yajja kikolerera buli olukedde era nti agenda kwongera kunafuya maanyi ga Mwami Museveni Abannayuganda banaagenda okusituka okweyiwa ku ngulu Mwami Museveni takyasobola wadde okukwata ejjinja oddikasukira munnayuganda n'omu agamba ajja kikola era buli kimu kijja kuvayo bulungi era Mwami Museveni mu ddakiika ntono nnyo mpawe kaaga ajja kukola kyali pulezidenti wa ggwanga Uganda nga Kyagulanyi pulezidenti w'eggwanga lino. Mbebaza nnyo mwenna abaliko mwebale kubaako akadde ke mutuwa tukasiima mwebale ogula kadata ne mujja okulanga amawulire gaffe ate mu mikwano gyange abasinga teri mulala nange nja kufuba okulaba nga nti ngaleeta nga bawe mufuba okutambulanga n'okutegeera ebiki ebifa mu ggwanga lyaffe Uganda mwenna gye muli Omukama Katonda oyo guludde ne Namugereka abamba ggulu atakumira mpeera nsaba abankuumire wadde bulijjo sinze mulagira naye nsaba leero abankuumire ate bwe nkomawo mbasange tudde mutuwayo ebigambo bataayi bange mweraba